I'm getting roasted on YouTube for posting a video about white supremacy culture, and when I made the post, the caption has a spelling error, and ironically, this is a great opportunity to continue talking about white supremacy culture. So this is the caption. So what I misspelled is tenant. I put tenant. Tenant is someone who lives in your house, someone who rents from you. It is not tenant as in principal, which is what I was talking about in this context. Some people corrected and commented nothing else because maybe they were just putting on my radar. Maybe it makes them feel better about themselves. And many people were like, this person apparently has a Ph.D. and misspelled something. Yeah, right. Doctorate from where, etc. And when we take one thing and it undermines everything else about that concept or that person, that is the white supremacy tenet of perfectionism. Right here. Perfectionism is when we use as an excuse any little mistake a person makes to then dismiss their whole argument. But this was mostly the energy, which is you're dismissing what I said because it made you uncomfortable, as you don't know the difference between basic words, therefore everything you said isn't true and I'm going to remain comfortable. That's the problem. And also, I'm not surprised but will not shut up about, this is the second comment in the past week I've had about Native Americans that were not indigenous, and like, y'all need to cut that shit out. It's ridiculous. So I've often given the example of once I was in an organization that had racial injustice issues, and it was a very elite organization, and a large part of the employees started doing donation wars publicly on the company website. Or not website, the emails. And they were competing with who could donate more and ridiculing anyone else who didn't donate or donated very little. And I was tempted in that moment to dismiss their concerns because of how classist I perceived their behavior as. I was like, people may not be donating because they could be single parents, they could be poor, and I know all of y'all have money. Like, I've worked with you, like I know who you are. But that would have been acting in perfectionism. I can criticize one avenue and be like, hey, we need to find a better way to raise money without shaming poor people, and still listen to, and you have valid concerns about why you're raising money for this effort. Anna, how could you experience white supremacy culture? You're white. Yes, so I'm mostly just using this as an opportunity to continue the conversation. More so, white supremacy culture is a culture. It is not a person. So anyone can perpetrate it, and it's toxic for all of us, but it is not toxic in the same way. And since white people are the dominant culture in the United States and several other major countries, say major as in having power, post-colonization, we get credited with the name, yes. Poison is poison, and while it definitely hurts marginalized groups more, it is not good for us to consume. So I don't make this in an I'm the victim type of way, more so as this was just tongue-in-cheek too ironic to not point out. I also want to be super clear that some of the comments were objectively hilarious. Like, at least she's not tentatively wrong. I appreciate the creativity. This made me cackle. I mean, playing on the tenant we rent from YouTube, you're right. Because we also very much pick and choose when this bothers us. So for example, the President of the United States mispronounced Yosemite recently. And as someone who has family and friends on the right and family and friends on the left, well, not many family, but friends, I have only heard from people on the left them making fun of the Yosemite thing. I don't even think my family on the right that made their news algorithms. So we don't apply this standard of perfection evenly, and that's part of the problem. Several of the comments encouraged me to delete the video because it'll undermine all of my credibility. And I will not be doing that because, one, I do think some of the comments are funny. And two, that would just be perpetuating the myth that if something is a mistake that you just can't exist. And I'm inevitably going to make more mistakes. I do my best to be well researched and cite my sources and to learn about something before I talk about it, but also I am human and I will continue to make mistakes. The best I can do is take accountability for them. There are also three particular points in my life where I remember my spelling got worse because I used to be really good at it. And one, my mom who homeschooled me will tell you when I started learning Spanish, that's when I started to get confused with words because the grammar makes so much more sense in Spanish to me. Two, when I had a traumatic brain injury, I have since struggled with visually seeing differences, and that's why I hired an editor for my book, even though I'm self-published. I know I confuse words that look similarly, especially when I'm tired. Doesn't mean I don't understand what they mean, but visually, that part of my brain that's visual has been impacted. And 3, when I learn new words and concepts. When you learn new words and concepts, you don't know them well immediately, and you will make mistakes. And you don't get everything right the first time, and that's okay, and that's not a reason to not continue to learn new things. The call always comes from inside the house. So my question for you, if you're any of my commenters, is where did you learn that you are not allowed to make mistakes?